it has been a hot minute since Rebecca tagged me for this tag. It's called Curiously Curated Book Tag. And this book tag is quite fun. And I know I'm really late with doing this tag, but that's just how it is. I'm always super late with tags. Not because I don't want to do them, but just because I'm really slow at things, I guess. And I have a life and I have a lot of other stuff that I want to do when it comes to videos. But let's get into this book tag and see what kind of answers I can make out or give. So the first question is, what's in a name? If a book were to be written about your life, what would it be? Or what would the title be? And I think it would be something along the lines of She Had No Clue, because I feel a lot of the times I'm really confused. I do a lot of stuff spontaneously. I can't say I'm not a planner, because I'm in many ways a planner, for like in some ways, especially if I'm going to travel or things like that. I like to plan ahead a lot of things, but there's a lot of things in my life that I've pretty much done on a whim without really thinking about it or not giving it much thought. So I've done things, I wouldn't say that I regret them. Well, there are things I kind of regret, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can't kind of turn back time or anything. Can't do time travel. But yeah, that's the way I am. I haven't been like stuck in one place for my whole life or anything. So I think that's kind of, even though there are like things I regret, I think I've learned something from it and its experience. And at the same time, because I've done a lot of stuff on a whim or impulsively, I have had in many ways a really rich life. And that leads us to question number 2. Oops, a 4-letter word. Have any of your books fallen victim to tragedy, and what factor played a part in your book's demise? So I guess the answer to this is that a couple of times I lent books to other people. There was a Neil Gaiman Neverwhere copy that I absolutely loved. It was my first Neil Gaiman Neverwhere copy, and the person that I lent it to never gave it back. The person kind of disappeared. I wouldn't say ghosted me, because it wasn't me personally, but it was like a group of people. So I never saw that book again, and even though I have several copies of Neverwhere, it's kind of a little bit heartbreaking. I have tried to find the same copy ever since, but I haven't been able to. But yeah, I hope that someday it will show up and I will, well, not that exact copy, but the same edition of the book, because I love that edition. Question number 3. Tell me about it. How do you personally feel about DNF'ing a book, and what effect, if any, does it have on you? So if you don't know, DNF'ing means that you're not finishing a book. It means did not finish. And it happens from time to time. Fortunately, I don't read a lot of books that I feel I'm not interested in continue reading, but it does happen, and I don't have any big problems with DNF'ing books. I'm fine with doing it, and I don't think it really has any effect on my life. Why would it have? It's a book. Of course, books can influence you and mean something to you and be something for you in your life, but if you DNF it, it will not have any big influence on your life, I think. And I guess I'm just fine doing that. Question 4. The sound of silence. It is said that silence is golden when reading a book. Can you comprehensively read amongst the chaos and chatter, or do you require a hushed atmosphere? I am fine reading with sounds around me, or chatter, or noise. No problems whatsoever. I actually love reading in cafes where there's music and people around me chattering. That is kind of actually one of the best places for me to read. I love listening to music when I read. So I can read with silence as well, but it's not a must, and I prefer it not to be silence actually. So yeah, I have no problems with chaos. I guess the answer is to that question. Question 5. It's all in the details. Choose 5 words that best describe your feelings towards book banning. So this is a question I actually had to think about. Not my opinion on book banning, because I think it's wrong, but finding the 5 words was a challenge. But I managed to find 5 words, and I will also explain the choice of words. So my first one is hurtful. And the reason behind this is that I think that representation matters. Today you see a lot of the books being banned are books with LGBTQ plus representation. It might also be books that deals with racism. And these books, in my opinion, are among the most important books that we have. And seeing yourself in books is so important. And I know that some will argue, but a child shouldn't really read about sex, but a lot of these things are not about sex per se. It's very often about identity. And I think that whatever you do, it's more important to find these things in the book, where it's kind of in a nocturne. Nocturne is not the English word. Nøktern, the Norwegian word. But an informative description of something is better than what they would have done if it wasn't for the books. I think that they would rather, because kids are curious, so they will seek information somewhere, and where they're more likely to find information if there's not books or any proper informative thing, I think they would go to porn or something like that, and that could be hurtful. So that was a lot of thoughts on just like the first word. And the second word is undemocratic, because by banning books you are shoveling away ideas or thoughts that you disagree with. And how can you form an opinion, and especially an informed opinion, if you don't have all the information accessible to you? So I think it's undemocratic. I also think stagnation is a good word for banning books, because if you don't have more ideas than the one idea you agree with, you are not able to make a wider perspective of the world. You're not getting new ideas. And I don't think a society can go forward if you stop certain books. So I think a society will stagnate if you don't allow all books. My fourth word is uninformed, because I think that if you ban books, it seems to me very often that this banning of the books, it comes from a very uninformed standpoint. I had an experience with a person who thought it was horrendous that we had genderqueer in the library. The reasoning behind this was that genderqueer is a book that is porn, but it's not porn. It's an informative book on identity. It's a biography, a graphic biography. And the fifth word is closed-minded, which is basically 2 words, but I'm picking this even so because I think a lot of banning of books is due to being very closed-minded. You're afraid of new ideas, you're afraid of other perspectives and thoughts that are not the ones you agree with. So that was a long answer to that question, I guess. So number 6 is It's Never Too Late. Name a book with a villain turned good guy. And I think the first one that comes to my mind is Mr. Darcy. It's a very obvious choice from Pride and Prejudice. He is very disliked in the beginning of the book, but then he turns well liked. Just leave it to that. If you haven't read Pride and Prejudice, you don't know what it's about, I think you must have lived under a rock. And if you haven't read it, go read it. It's a really good book. Question 7. It's a matter of preference. Throughout your reading journey, what one specific do you enjoy tirelessly having just described to you? For example, hands, food, clothing. And I don't think there's any that I never tire of. I don't mind having food described, but I remember I was reading a book, I think it was The Historian. And there's this endless description of food, and it's like page up and page down on description of food, and that actually kind of bored me. I'm sure there are people out there that think it's brilliant and love it, but for me, no. Don't overdo things. Just leave it to that. Don't overdo things. Question 8. That's a wrap. Name the one book that you feel complete your physical, audible, electronic, or mental library. And I don't really understand this question, to be honest. I don't think I have one of those books. There's so many books, and yeah, I don't understand this question. How do you complete? Oh, complete, like it makes, yeah, I don't think there's one book. Even though I know, kind of, sorry. I was like, I don't understand this question, and I've been thinking about it for loads, and then just now it kind of clicked. Yeah, it makes you feel like you have like fulfilled your library or something, but I still don't think there's the one book. So I am going to leave that as a blank. Question 9 is lend a helping hand. Recommend 3 booktube channels that need a boost in subscriptions, and then go and subscribe to their channel. So I'm going to mention 3 channels that I honestly don't understand why they don't have more subscribers. And the first one, of course, is my friend Jaleesa, the lovely Jaleesa at Reading Beyond the Book Cover. If you haven't subscribed to her, go do so, because she's just awesome. She's really nice, and she have hardly any subscribers, and I don't understand why. And then I want to mention Dom and Ollie, and they have had a few like rebranding of their channels over the last few months, and there's not a lot of videos there at the moment. There's currently 2, and I hope that it'll stay this way, that it's like now, because I think, yeah, the format is really good. I've enjoyed their channel all the time, but they don't have a lot of subscribers, but I hope they will grow. And yeah, go subscribe. And the last channel that is really small that I want to mention, all of these have like less than 100 subscribers. So that's why I picked these 3. And the last one is Bad Gal Reads, which is also a fun YouTuber. And yeah, go check out their channel. And the 10th and last question is tag 3 unique and enjoyable booktube personalities to do this tag. And of course I have to tag my 3 good friends. Jalisa, of course, mentioned her already, but I hope she will do this tag. And then it's In Between the Lines, which had to reboost or start their channel over again because I don't know what happened, but he was locked out of his channel, and then he wasn't getting any help from Google or YouTube. Not a surprise to me. I have a channel that's very old and pre-Google buying up YouTube, and I don't have access to that channel anymore, and it's annoying because I can't really grab any of the videos. There's no official videos on that channel, so it's not important, but still annoying. And then of course Ven from Ven's book cover. So those are the 3 that I want to tag. And that's a wrap. To use one of the questions. That's the tag video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like if you did. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Ring that little bell so that you get notification when I upload a new video. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.